Hello, Mr. Mailer here, your online math teacher, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be continuing my video series on Excel tips, and in particular looking at scatterplots. So if you find this video helpful, consider smashing that like button and subscribing, and let's get going. So, scatterplots are probably the most common way to visualize two quantitative variables. It is a type of graph where you plot, where you have an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So you can plot the two quantitative variables on an xy plane against each other. Now, here you can see I have some data. I have the height and weight recorded of some individual person. So I can see how they relate. So if I want to make a scatter plot, I can start by clicking and highlighting my data that I want to put in the scatter plot. I can then go to Insert, and you'll see under the Charts box up here, there's something that looks like a scatter plot, and when you highlight it, it'll say Insert XY, and that means scatter plot. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to click Scatter, and this is what the picture I get. And I can always add axes titles through my little wizard here. If the wizard doesn't show up, you can always go to the Add Chart Elements in the top left-hand corner and find the same things. So I am going to name my x-axis to be height in inches. So the x-axis is going to be that first column of data you have by default. And the y-axis is going to be that second column of data, so the weight. So weight in pounds. So I get that. And Excel, as always, is going to guess what you want to call it. We don't really want to call it weight. I'll call it height versus weight, just so I know. Name it whatever you want. And this is pretty good for most people, and you can play around, obviously, up here, change colors and all that type of stuff. But you might notice Excel formats the x-axis, so it starts at 60 because it recognizes, hey, you don't really have any small x values, so we're going to ignore a lot of the x scale. So that's pretty good. Unfortunately, sometimes you might have really big y values, so you're going to want to alter the y scale as well, and Excel is not going to default to that. So if we want to change this y scale so so it doesn't automatically start at 0, what you're going to have to do is you'll click on the numbers lined up on your y-axis, and then in the Format Axes block on the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to go to the histogram-like looking button that is Axes Options. This is all once you've clicked to highlight those numbers on the y-axis. From here, the first drop-down menu under Axes Options will give you bounds. You can currently see that the minimum is set to 0 and the maximum is set to 250. Now, 250 seems like a reasonable maximum, but we don't have any data between 0 and 100, so I'm just going to change that minimum to 100 to see how it looks. And you can see it changes pretty nicely. And this is about all that you're going to need to do for now. Now, if you want, there are other things you might be interested in here, and I'll make another video later on how to do this, but you can add lots of other things like trend lines, or other lines of best fit, whether it be the equation of your least squared regression line, or maybe a quadratic model or something else. But that's another video. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and have an awesome day.